Hi, Shanna. Thanks so much for taking the time to join me on this today. I think it's about 6 months, right? And I am excited for us to have this conversation. I know that when we started, we had a couple of things, a couple of questions going on about the whole 10-week program and all that. So, but I wanted us to take some time to just talk about the program. The goal for this is really to help somebody else who might be on the fence, but oh, what's this thing all about? Like, I want to be able to learn something, like whatever. If they can be able to get something fresh from you, and that may help them make a decision on their own career pathway, as a bunch of people are taking a start right now on clinical research. So if you want to begin by just introducing yourself a little bit, then you can just jump right into it as to how you got connected to me, how we started working together, and all that. Then we can take it from there.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. So I was a staff scientist for a medical device company. I worked in new product development and R&D. I did not have any clinical research experience at all. I interfaced with some individuals that did do clinical research, but I did not personally. I found it really interesting, and so when I was laid off and I had some time on my hands, and I was trying to get myself, back out there looking for work and getting on LinkedIn. I found Rudy on LinkedIn. Rudy, you were really active on there, and I saw that you were in clinical research, and I was reading a lot of your posts and your information. I just thought it was super interesting. And I thought, maybe now's the time for me to see what clinical research is all about. So I started reading your posts, liking your posts, and then, kind of reached out to you directly when I saw that there was an opportunity to potentially work with you. And that's kind of how things, started.
Wow, I mean, I remember there was we met the first meeting, and we went over like a couple of things about your interest in clinical research. Like, why are you so interested in clinical research?
Yeah.
But I know that after our meeting, you had about a month again. You joined a workshop. The workshop, I spotlighted you on the workshop because you were on camera. What
Yes.
was that experience for you?
Oh man. It was interesting, I kind of felt like a fish out of water. Here I am in this clinical research, workshop. I knew very little about clinical research, really just a surface level, which is why
Right.
I wanted to get into these workshops and learn little bit more. But when you kind of spotlighted me, I was like, oh my gosh, he notices me. What am I doing here? Do I belong here? So it was interesting, but it ended up being the start of a really great journey for me.
Yeah, no, awesome. Because one of the things I always tell people, especially when it comes to workshops, it's good to be interactive. It's good to be engaged, because that's how you get to learn. So many people come to workshops and they just have like cameras all blank, muted, like I don't like you ghosted.
Yeah.
But you putting your camera, being out there, putting yourself out there, I think that was really the very bold step in taking towards the right direction. I
Yep.
know fast forward after that, you ended up enrolling to the 10-week coaching program that we have. And I just want to take you used to take a second. How will you describe the overall experience of that program?
Yeah, honestly, I was really sad when it ended. I had such a great time. I would say that I started again just having a very surface level, understanding of clinical research. But by the time that it was over, even before I was done all the courses, I was able to speak intelligently with others who were in clinical research about, different aspects of it. So I learned a wealth of information. I thought it was engaging. I thought it was really fun. I liked that, the videos, the coursework we could kind of do in our own time. So whether you were working or not, you could do it at your own pace. And then having those, lectures once a week where it was live, really helped to enforce all of the things that I was kind of learning on my own pace. And then also, it being a small group setting and being able to interact with other people that were kind of in a similar situation as you and just trying to learn. It was really engaging, it was encouraging, and I had such a good time, and I was sad for it to end.
Well, some good things have to come to an end at some point, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
But just speaking about the session, I know that apart from group sessions that we have, we always had our one-on-ones.
Hmm.
Right? And did you think the one-on-ones was valuable in like overall answering some of the questions that you might have? specifically about the career-wise, the entire thing? Like, do you think those were helpful at all?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I was able to ask questions in those one-to-ones that I wouldn't necessarily ask in a group setting, because it wasn't specific to me. The lectures were more so, on the material and learning, but those one-to-one sessions really helped me to see how to navigate what I was trying to do and answer those specific questions that I had and address the needs that, I had specifically. So I found them very helpful.
Wow, absolutely. And I think that one of the biggest, I always tell people that the people get into programs not because they want to, quote unquote, because they want to know, but more so because they have an end objective,
Hmm.
right? It to break into clinical research, to get the first job, to get a job, whatever, right? That's the reason why people always kind of jump into programs. So you I always kind of use you as an example because you were one of those, I call them hustlers, right? And you did, I mean, no, I always tell people, like, when I try to talk to somebody and I said, listen, this program is not easy at all. I'm
Hmm.
letting you know upfront, right? And I get to enjoy the way you jumped on it. Can you just tell somebody a little bit about, I'm not trying to scare anybody, by the way, but a little bit about the intensity on the program and your job search strategies and the extent to which you went. I know we did a couple of strategies, a bunch of different things, and how did that all put up together?
Yeah, starting first with I guess the pace of the course, we had homework to do, essentially. I mean, you needed to be able, before you had your class lectures, you needed to be able to watch those videos beforehand. I mean, sure, you could have skipped them, but you wouldn't have got as much out of it if you hadn't watched those
Right,
videos. So yeah, it took time to watch, 7 to 12 videos, throughout the week. And then also, having quizzes that you needed to also, complete by the time, we had our classes. And just like anything, you're going to get out of it what you put in. So if you didn't put
right,
in the work, it wasn't going to be as valuable to you. So I thought it
absolutely.
was, super important to, stay up with what you needed to get done, for that week so that you were prepared for those classes, so that you could be engaged, so that you could ask more questions that maybe weren't 100% sure on when you were watching the video. So I thought it was very important to do that. As far as, kind of hustling and the whole, job search thing, we really started out with the strategy of getting noticed. So, what is it that you really need to have on your resume? What's important? You need to be able to quantify things. And that was something that I really learned, quantify your accomplishments, the work that you did, really getting the LinkedIn profile up optimized so that, people could find me so that they could get a snapshot of who I was and what I was looking for. So we kind of
Right,
started there. And then you really encouraged me to reach out to people in the clinical research community and, learn from them, pick their brains, make more interactions with people. You encouraged me to get out there. I went to, ACRP event. And I was still early in clinical research, but I got out there to see what was going on. So it
right,
was really all about being seen and engaging with people. And
right.
then, yeah, I was out there outside of that. I was going to, career fairs and, making, business cards for myself and handing them to people. It's again, you're going to get out of it what you put in. And so I think that I managed to have a level of success because I was willing to do the work. And
Yeah.
anybody who's going to get into the program who wants to see something good happen at the end, you need to put in the work.
Yeah, I mean, I love that specific aspect, the specific aspect of what you did, and you had a QR code on your business card. The
Right.
QR code links to your LinkedIn account. Like, this is like all this ingenuity, and these are things that I didn't think about it. You thought
Yeah.
about it, right? You brought it up to me like, "Well, this is what I'm doing." I'm like, great, let's go for it, right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like you said, it comes down to getting exactly what you put into it. And just like everything else, right? Um, but what has been your experience working with me personally?
Mm-hmm. I loved it, Rudy. We had such a good time. I don't know if it's, we were on the same wavelength or what. But you're such a great listener, active listener. Everything that I wanted to spill on you, you took. I felt like you really heard me and what I was looking for and what I was trying to do. So I had all the support that I needed. Any contacts that you had that could help me out, you were willing to, kind of introduce me and kind of give me a leg up and things. So I thought it was great. The mentorship was what it needed to be. And I think you're a great mentor. I learned so much. You have so much good experience, not just in clinical research, but people skills and leadership. So it was really great. It was really a pleasure to work with you and to see the person behind all the LinkedIn posts that I was reading and to get to know you personally. It really was a pleasure, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, I think that I always say that people don't work with people because people work with people because they like them.
Hmm.
We have to establish a sense of likability amongst ourselves because that's exactly where the relationship begins.
Hmm.
Because to me, it's not just about a course. It's not just about sending a program to somebody. It's like that relationship with somebody that we're
Right.
gonna meet again in 5, 10 years. Who knows? Nobody knows.
Right.
We might meet in an event. I'm like, you're such a good person today. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And let me just add too, you can, do all the posts in the world. You can say a lot of things on social media and other platforms. But I felt that you really do live what you put out there. I believe that 100%. And I always got the sense that you were there for the people that were working with you. Yes, we pay to do this program, right? So we're getting a service, but I did always feel that there was a people element that you put into that and you genuinely wanted to help people. It wasn't just about money or offering a course. I really felt that you were out there to help people, and I really appreciated that.
Right. That means a lot. Don't drive me to tears.
Oh!
But at the end of the program, right, the goal is to get success, right?
Mhm.
Um, I know that right now there are a couple of things going on, a couple of offers going on arrest that we have a conversation. But did you think that the accomplishing this program led to the opportunity that you end up having and other opportunities that you're looking at right now? Do you think that this program contributed in any way, shape, or form towards that?
I do. And I have to, be honest, I'm not in clinical research yet. I'm kind of working my way there, but I do feel like all of the help that I got in, optimizing my LinkedIn and my resume, those were all things that helped me to land a job, and I was able to land a job. And, you
Just
know,
to be clear, you have a job now.
I have a job right now. Yes, I do have a job.
Okay.
Yes. Um, but for me too, it wasn't just about like at the end of this program, I need to have a job in clinical research. For me, it was about exploring this interest that I had. And I felt that I thoroughly did that. You know what I mean? I got all the information that I felt that was really crucial for me to even have a shot at getting into clinical research. So I gained so much more, and if I end up in clinical research, yeah, that's going to be great. That's where I want to be. But I feel like this program put me in a good position to be there or to get into that, which I would not have had otherwise if I had not enrolled in the program.
Wow, that means a lot. I mean, if there's somebody right now listening to you and who is on the fence thinking about, should I join this program? What
Yeah,
will you say to them?
I would say do it. You know what I mean? Honestly, just do it. I was on the fence too, in the beginning. But there's nothing wrong at the very least, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn a lot. you're also not just again about clinical research, but you're going to learn how to properly do a job search. You're going to learn how to properly interview. You're going to learn how to properly present yourself out there. So if anything else, you're going to learn that. And I think that's valuable.
Wow.
And you're going
I
to have
mean,
a
I
great and
think
you're going to have a great mentor as well.
uh, I mean, I think that thanks so much, Shanna. We need to what will you recommend to me and my team on improving this program for those in the future? Is there one thing specific that you say, you know what, really, I think if we did this better, we can have people in the future might have better outcomes.
Oh man, Rudy, you're putting me on the spot.
I'm sorry. I'm
Y-
sorry.
yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, nothing's perfect, right? There's always going to be something that
Hard.
you're going to have to work on. I think
Right. Of course.
maybe one thing
Of
that was
course.
a little I think difficult in the program, and it's not to any fault of anybody, but we were in a transition, from one
Mm,
platform, one learning platform to another,
right.
which I think other people getting into the program later aren't going to have to go through that transition. So I think that could have been a little like, difficult at times because it's like we started in this program, but then we went over to this program, and
New
there weren't
system.
there weren't huge differences, but there were some differences in the usage that you had to get used to. But I mean, other than that, I think it was really good. And I think as time goes on, the courses are only going to get better, right? The longer you
Right.
do something, the more you learn, the better they're going to be for the next person.
Absolutely. One comment that somebody mentioned to me was really, I think if you have a hiring team, um, that can be specific on just hiring people, then that would be great. I said, okay, I'll work to get a hiring agency so that at the end of the program, I just, okay, guys, take these people and give them a job.
Right?
I'm
That's
hoping that at
ambitious.
some point we'll get there.
Yeah.
I mean, this person brought it up. I was like, I'm also looking for that, right?
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking for that. But Chana, this was great. Is there anything else that you want to say to anybody listening to this that you think might be helpful for them towards this amazing program that we've come to create ourselves? Because again, I'm learning, I'm growing myself. I've learned a lot from you, getting to know you personally, and I think that I've become a better person in one way, shape, or form. But is there anything you can tell anybody listening that like, okay, like last conversation,
Yeah, I would
whatever?
just say invest in yourself. I think that it's good to invest in yourself and to grow. I only took this time now because I was in a position where I had time to, because I was out of work. But I wish I would have done something like this before. I was too afraid to take the chance. I was too afraid to take the risk. So I would say stop being so afraid. Take the risk, invest in yourself. You really have nothing to lose. And this is knowledge and information that you can carry on from one job to another. So I say go for it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Shanna. It's been a
Welcome.
opportunity, and we are grateful to have had you into the program. And of course, you have my number, I have
Yep.
your number, friends for a very, very long time.
Sounds good, Rudy.